Hello everybody, welcome to the Malbeefance channel. Here we are ready to start our next series in the Strategic Command World War II series of games. This time it is Strategic Command World War II War in Europe. I know a lot of people want me to jump straight into the big guy, World at War, but I wanted to do War in Europe because there's something that I've never done in this game. Well, there's a lot of things I haven't done in this game, but specifically, I have never played this game as the Allies. Okay, I've always played War in Europe as the Axis, and so I wanted to go ahead and I wanted to do a series where I'm playing as the Allies. I've never played as the Allies before. This is going to be completely new to me. Okay. Um, so with that said, let me go ahead and get everything set up. So obviously single player. I haven't linked up with anybody yet to where we can go head to head. So we are going to start at the beginning of the conflict, September 1st, 1939. As usual, you can check your victory conditions. Okay, let's see what they are. All right, so I am going to play as the Allies. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave the difficulty on intermediate. That way, neither I or the computer have um, any additional advantages. Okay, because I mean, like the computer knows where all the pieces are, so fog of war is kind of difficult for the computer to go ahead and play on itself, and I'm able to outthink the computer in certain areas for strategic planning and things like that. So, no, the player is, not just me. All right, so I'm going to continue to use the 3D counters. As I've mentioned before, they're just easier for me to see. Now, soft build limits is turned on. I'm turning that off. So that way we've got hard build limits. I've learned from discussions with other players and one of the devs that the computer programming, the computer has a little bit of difficulty figuring out how to best use the soft build limits. So if soft build limits are turned on, that is actually a player advantage. Okay, and for those of you that don't know how soft build limit works, each country in the game has an upper limit to the types of units that they can put out on the board. Like, just to give you an example, one country could have an upper limit of 20 infantry divisions, 5 armored divisions, and, and 5 air flotillas, large air wings. If you've got hard build limits on, then you're not going to be able to build past that limit. If you should happen to build all 20 of that nation's infantry divisions, then they can't have any more infantry divisions, okay, because they're at their max. All right, with soft build limits, you can go past those hard limits, okay. And the way it would work is every unit that you purchase beyond the limit is going to cost more, okay. So the first unit is going to cost, like, let's say maybe 5% more than the original maximum you're allowed to have. You go 2 units above your maximum, and then that's 10% more in order to build that unit. Okay, and that's just an example, but you get the idea. So I'm going to leave it on hard build limits. That way I don't have that particular advantage over the computer. All right, so the computer is setting up the game. And it's taking longer than, there we go. All right, so more than likely the axis are going to move first, so I'm pretty much just going to be reacting at this point. Here we go. So obviously the game is starting off with the German invasion of Poland. And they are just raining all kinds of pain and hate and discontent on my capital. Now it'll be interesting to me to see how the computer handles Italy. Okay, United Kingdom declares war on Germany, obviously. France declares war. British industry and trade start switching to military production. France increases industrial mobilization for the war effort. And now calculating supply for the upcoming turn. Right. Pomor's army destroyed, Lod's army destroyed, Pomorska cavalry brigade destroyed. Military activity summary there. Oh, that's loud. Our report on Allied war aims. For the second time this century, we are at war with Germany. While France concentrates on reinforcing her armies and Poland fights for her survival, we must prepare for the long struggle ahead. It will not be easy. That's an understatement, but then British are good at understatement. And our immediate aims must be to assist our French allies while also protecting our sea lanes and our position in the Middle East. So let's do our duty to king and country, roll up our sleeves, and get the job done. Yay. All right, so UK Mediterranean report on Italian preparations for war. Intelligence report Mussolini will start mobilizing should our position in the Mediterranean appear to be poorly defended. Recommend maintaining units at Gibraltar, Malta, Cairo, Tunis, and Damascus. Now that we are at war, it is expected of us that we will send a British expeditionary force to France, just as we did in the last war. Arrangements are in place for the BEF to be transported across the Channel and deploy around Rome on the 1st of October 1939. Once there, these forces could provide boosts to French morale, which is rather fragile. If we do not send the BEF to France, then French national morale will fall, and the U.S. will move 5 to 8% away from the Allies. So, would I like to deploy the BEF in France, or risk the consequences of deploying it in the UK instead? Now, to be honest with you, I don't see the advantage of keeping the expeditionary force in Britain. It's not like we got to worry about a German invasion in September of 1939, or pretty much any time in 1939. So let's be good little allies, and we will send the expeditionary force to France. Okay, over on the other side of Germany, now that German invasion of Poland is well underway, it is important that we do not show weakness and let the Germans gain the whole country. It is therefore important that we fulfill our side of the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact by marching into Poland, even though it will cause some slight harm to our relationships with Britain and France. Would you like to order the Red Army to prepare to advance into Poland? Let me see what the notes are on this. So the decision will play a key role in determining the boundaries between Germany and the USSR after Poland has fallen. And if we do not advance into Poland, then the Germans will have a good starting position in which to invade the USSR. Okay, so there's our argument for going ahead and invading. Given our current poor state of readiness for war, saying no could put us in a very compromising situation. Saying yes and advancing into Poland will also provide us with the possibility of increasing our income by capturing Lwów and by holding the fortress of Brest-Litovsk. we will be able to slow the German invasion that is bound to come within the next few years. Note that even if we do say yes to this and invade, it is possible that the Germans will refuse to honor the pact and force us to withdraw from Poland. So the designer's note here is this advance is fully handled by the engine, so it is neither possible nor required to manually move any Red Army forces. Okay. All right, well, we want the forward defensive positions, and we definitely want to increase our income. So, do we wish to invade? Yes, we're going to invade. All right, so that is it for decisions and all that wonderful stuff. So let's go ahead and handle Poland first. See what we can do here. Now, the German advance is not as coordinated as it could be, but Polish forces aren't exactly in the best position to defend against Germany anyway. So I'm debating, do I want to try and do as much damage as possible before Poland falls? Or do I want to surround Warsaw and hold out as long as possible? I really don't think I'm going to be able to do much damage. Grr. So the mental debate that I'm having right now is all of my division-sized units are not at full strength. So do I try to get them to full strength and then improve our defenses at Warsaw, or do I go ahead and swap them out anyway? I don't think I'm going to get too many options. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fall back on Warsaw right away. All right, did we miss anybody? Yeah. And that garrison up here in Wilno probably isn't going to be able to do it. Well, no, there's some distance. Okay. All right, for whatever it's worth, we'll go ahead and we'll see if we can defend Warsaw for a couple of turns. It'll slow down German forces in the west. So since we're over here on this side, let's go ahead and get Soviet movement out of the way. There's really not a whole lot I can do in the Black Sea. I'll go ahead and put him in port anyway. Now I don't have to worry about putting any forces along the Polish border, as the the note card that came up said the computer will handle all of that. So with that in mind, let's just go ahead and try and mobilize this headquarters a little bit more. Get ready for the winter war. Do I have to leave anybody in Moscow? I don't think so. I won't move anything yet, just to be safe. All right, so that takes care of Poland and the Soviet Union. So now England. Let's go ahead and get some anti-submarine patrols out there. Some escorts for the carrier. I'll leave Rodney in port for the moment. Who else we got? Trying to get a whole battle group around the carrier there. Interfere with British or German supplies coming down from Norway. I'll go ahead and have these guys hang out up here at Scapa Flow for a little bit. I know the Germans are going to be deploying their U-boats. So we'll see if anybody tries to run the gap here. No, I'll leave him in port for now. All right. Any more British forces? So we'll leave the garrison there. Leave Force H in port at the moment. All right. I'm focusing entirely on British forces at the moment. We'll handle French forces last. So what is this? 7 Allied naval units within this zone risks Italy mobilizing. How many do I have in here right now? 1, 2, 3, 4. Two Allied amphibious units within this zone risks Italy mobilizing. Okay. Now I've mentioned it in the past about headquarters units, but for those of you who may be new to it, the headquarters unit is used for supply of units in the field. It helps with supply distribution. Each headquarters can only coordinate for up to so many units. Like in this case, General O'Connor, he can coordinate up to 5 units. Okay, at the moment, there are technology advances that can improve that. And if you want, you can have the computer go full auto, and the computer will pick what units the headquarters is coordinating for. You can do the whole thing manually, or you can do a combination of the two. So I normally put it on auto assist because the computer is, in my opinion, the computer does a good enough job coordinating that I really don't need to do that level of micromanagement. So. All right, so I'm not going to move any of the Allied ground forces here in Africa or the Middle East at the moment. Okay, so that finishes with the British forces. So now we go ahead and finish up with French forces. Now, I'm not interested in bringing Italy into the war any sooner than is absolutely necessary. Oh, there we go. French destroyer can help out. All right, so now the main course, if you will, the main event. All right, that burns up all of France's production points. Now, this may not be a wise idea, but I want to try and start getting pressure on Germany as fast as possible. Kind of sort of making DEF up here. I have no idea if the computer is going to have German forces invade the Low Countries or not. For the time being, I'm going to assume that yes, they will. All right, and I think that's going to do it for movement and all. Yep. All right, so can anybody send anybody supplies? Either no or not yet, one of the two. Now, can the United States do any research? Nope, they do not have enough. And England does not have enough left over. All right. So that looks like it's going to do it for the Allied turn. All right, so let's go ahead and advance a turn and see what we get. Norway demands the Allies respect their territorial waters. Declares war on Germany. I didn't know I had anybody in Norwegian territorial waters. Operation Peking, evacuation of Polish destroyers to the UK. Canada supplies convoys to the UK. There's our ledger for the up and coming turn. Not a whole lot going on there. Not yet, anyway. All right, so Germany back to moving on Poland. Advancing the line here in the Ruhr on the Western Front. Despite the losses that the Polish are taking, this is kind of what I wanted to have happen. The German forces in the field would go after all of the Polish forces that I was not able to get around Warsaw. So Polish morale suffers due to battlefield losses, but we still hold Warsaw. The Red Army begins crossing into Poland. Polish morale plummets as news spreads that the Red Army has stabbed them in the back. Allied raiders disrupting Norway German convoys. That's at one lone submarine. Calculating supply for me. There's our combat losses and our military activity summary. The Salmon took out 17 production points. Awesome. Way to go, guys. All right, so it doesn't look like the Allies are getting any more pop-up windows for advice or anything like that. And no reinforcements yet. Try and reinforce my best or heaviest units. Yeah, I know I got Soviet units are going to be coming. Well, that is everything for Poland. Not a whole lot to be can be done there. I wonder why I can't move into that spot. Just looking at the Soviet Finnish frontier. All right, that Finnish is mobilizing, who is that? Timoshenko's headquarters. I'm just not going to do anything with Soviet forces at the moment. I mean, other than gathering up some troops here, because I figure sooner or later I'm going to get the option for the winter war against Finland. We'll see what happens. I was hoping to mobilize him up to 10 points, but I don't think any of the ports out here can do it. So we'll just keep British forces where they are, in the Mediterranean, I mean. I'm not going to spend any production points on French forces down in Africa. Not yet. More important to get them up here in France. So I got to finish mobilizing these forces. Obviously, like any other strategic command game, I know I should be putting production into research and development. If France survives the onslaught, I'll do that. But for right now, all right, this might not be a wise move. All right, anybody else? Nope. All right, so this task force is just basically out here waiting to see if anything shows up to start interfering with supplies coming in. There's not a lot I can do down in the Mediterranean. All right, do we have anything over here? Yes, we do. We have a Canadian destroyer. So he can stay there for the moment. And American forces. I'm not going to do anything with them. I'm going to have the United States husband its production points so that I can go ahead and I can work on their blah, their research and development. All right, so that looks like it's going to be it for movement. So, and I was just talking about research and development. Let's go to the United States. They got 102. Industrial technology would definitely be um, good place to start, but I've only got 102, so they're already working on infantry weapons is definitely a important one. Oh, excuse me. Aerial warfare, naval warfare, or I could just bank it. Now let's go ahead. We'll get aerial warfare started. All right, in the UK, definitely. Do we have enough? Yes, we do. All right, so industrial technology, so they can get more production points, more money is what that's doing. That only leaves 18 though, so that's everybody. All right, so that is going to do it for this turn, and that's going to do it for this episode. Slow start. I don't know. Personally, I think it's a good start. The French are occupying two hexes in the Ruhr Valley, and Poland is still in the game, so I consider that a win. All right, well, thank you all for tuning in again. Um, Drop a comment, leave a like, helps grow the channel. Um, if you have not already, please go ahead and subscribe. And if you know somebody that likes this kind of content, please share it with them. Once again, thank you all very much, and I will see you on the next one.